Hello, this is the Captain Paxo, and this is another little testing video for the Black Fire Orb, Great Chaos Fire Orb, and Chaos Bed Vestiges. You can see my stats in the top right hand corner. I will not be using the Fire Clutch Ring this time because that disproportionately increased the damage of the Fire Orbs. So once again, first enemy we're going up against is a pretty stock in defenses, so try and keep these numbers in mind just as a sort of relative point. So 563 on the Great Chaos Fire Orb, that's going to be like our standard, I guess. And our Black Fire Orb is going to do 417, if I remember. Yes, 417. That's a pretty interesting number that we're going to want to keep in mind for a little bit later. And the Chaos Bed Vestiges is doing a whopping 676, so it's flattening the impact damage of both of the other Fire Orbs. So, up against the Dark Wraiths, so they have good dark defense, as one would expect. Now, our results are going to get a little bit skewed here, so we're going to have to take away the damage that he's currently on from the damage that he has now. So 629 minus 191, we get 435. So that's the damage of the impact of the Fire Orb. Remember that, 435, because we're going to be comparing it against the measly 259. As to be expected against an enemy of dark defense. And now we're going to try out the Chaos Bed Vestiges, which is going to do a pretty significant 623. 523, my bad. So again, it's doing more damage than the Chaos Fire Orb. Now we're going to be having a look at this enemy, which is weak to fire but strong against dark. So the Great Chaos Fire Orb is doing a huge 1026 damage. That is really significant. But the Black Fire Orb is going to do a pathetic 260 damage in comparison. That is nothing in comparison to how much damage the Great Chaos Fire Orb is doing, and how much damage the Chaos Bed Vestiges will do at 1232 damage. Quite significant. So now we're going up against some fire resistant enemies. As you can see, that Fire Orb is completely immune to fire, as to be expected. So let's have a look at how much damage this Chaos Fire Orb will do against this enemy. So that's 312. That's fairly low, as to be expected. But now we're going to try out a Black Fire Orb, and that's going to do 406, which is actually less damage than I was doing against the Corvians at the beginning of this video. Which is interesting, isn't it? Chaos Bed Vestiges, however, is going to do a 373. So the Black Fire Orb is coming out on top against those enemies. Another fire resistant enemy here, doing 291 damage on the Great Chaos Fire Orb. Not great. So we're going to try out the Black Fire Orb now, which is going to do 403. Again, lower than the Corvians, but not by much. So now we're trying out Chaos Bed Vestiges with 351. So once again, the Fire Orb, Black Fire Orb, if I can get the naming right, is coming out on top against these Lothric Knights. We have 453, and he walks into the lava, so we can actually calculate the total damage that he takes by adding them together, which is 650. Keep that in mind. So that's the total potential damage that enemies can take from the Great Chaos Fire Orb. The Black Fire Orb does 431, which is less than the Great Chaos Fire Orb, which I would have... Well, metal armor is good against fire. Well, it should be anyway. So that does 549 on the Chaos Bed Vestiges, which is less than the total potential damage of the Great Chaos Fire Orb. So Chaos Bed Vestiges does do more impact damage, but Great Chaos Fire Orb has a better potential damage if you can get your enemies to walk into the lava once they've been hit. Also, Great Chaos Fire Orb is still, even without the fire clutch ring, comes out on top over the black fire orb in most cases, and in the cases that it doesn't, it's not usually by a huge amount. Like, usually the enemies are still pretty resistant against the dark attack as well. But that's the end of this test, so thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.